Good morning, everyone, at least Central European time. I hope everyone is well and you're not affected, by that BTC drop and everyone is safe from trading and also staying healthy at the moment. For those who are not familiar, I'm Seetified. I've been giving many trading therapy sessions at the Nest so far. So happy that, a couple of you could join us today. Sorry, it's a little bit earlier than normal. I have a busy day ahead of me. As I'm attending my friend's PhD defense. So today we're going to be talking about cognitive dissonance, and it's what it is, and when can it happen, and I'll explain more in detail. If you just bear with me for a minute or two, I'll play an ad by our sponsors. It will just take a minute or two. Thank you for your patience.
PrimeXBT is the most powerful trading platform offering immediate access to over 30 assets. Trade cryptocurrencies, forex, commodities, stock indices, and much more, all from a single Bitcoin settled account. Visit the link below and start trading on PrimeXBT in minutes.
YFDI is democratizing finance by creating the most secure, transparent, and user-friendly ecosystem of DeFi products. To learn more, visit thebirbnest.com/YFDI. Bistro is a decentralized peer-to-peer food marketplace that makes ordering food more convenient and rewarding for both providers and customers. Learn more at thebirbnest.com/bistro. CryptoCart bridges the gap between DeFi and e-commerce by allowing you to directly spend your crypto on countless real-world goods. Learn more at thebirbnest.com/CryptoCart. Equinix is a NASDAQ-listed digital assets company offering crypto exchange, custody, asset management, borrowing and lending services, and more. Enhance your crypto wealth today at thebirbnest.com/Equinix.
Great. Welcome back, guys. Thank you all for your patience and for bearing with me. Hi, Michael. I hope all is well. It's good that you're taking the vaccine. But are you taking the vaccine right now and also attending trading therapy? That's some commitment. But welcome to all that just joined. Today we'll be talking about cognitive dissonance. And so basically, let's say if you take a minute or two to look at the picture and then think about what you see. If you already know what you see, you can type it out, or if you even constantly see something different that changes all the time, feel free to comment on this. I'll just give you guys a minute or two to digest to see what you actually see on the screen at the moment. So, right, seems like everyone's getting their vaccine today. Good luck. I hope that side effects you wouldn't experience any side effects. I myself didn't really have any. I got both, and it was just sore arm and just a little bit of headache, like 24 hours after, but it was nothing too serious. So good luck, guys. So so basically, when you see such a picture, you might have some conflict. You may see something. At least for me, I can see maybe perhaps a bat, or it looks like a dirty mess, and it's kind of like a conflict. And this is what happens during cognitive dissonance, where you have a conflict between what others say, perhaps what you see and what you think you see, and your action as well. So this is kind of like the cognitive dissonance phenomena. Your brain is not naturally made for trading in general. So there's this internal protection mechanism that we humans have developed as a way to really create a comfortable reality around our daily lives. So cognitive dissonance means that we're kind of like experiencing conflicting and discomforting experiences, thoughts, and emotions that arise from our own actions. And this happens a lot, right? When we're trading, especially if Bitcoin goes up and down, this can cause a lot of conflict between what you're thinking: should I hold, should I sell, and what is going to happen next with Bitcoin, because this creates a lot of mental discomfort in your head. So basically, as you see here, there's this cognitive dissonance theory where you try to ease this discomfort between, the conflict that you have in your thoughts, your emotions, and your action. So you can choose to either change to easy discomfort and decrease your cognitive dissonance, but you can also think of reasons to justify the action that you're doing right now. So this is quite a tricky slope, right? So if you think about it from, everyday life, if you smoke, smoking can lead to cancer. Frequent smokers don't like to think of, cancer 20 times a day each time they light a cigarette, right? It's not a fun thing to do. So when people experience such negative emotions, there are two things, you can do, right? You can either start to change your behavior and your thoughts to reduce that discomfort. But instead of quitting smoking, most smokers who have been smoking for years would justify this behavior that they have, talk down the risks of smoking and come up with other avoiding mechanisms to make them feel better. Maybe, read articles to say, smoking isn't that bad. It does not necessarily lead to cancer. And you can see how this can also apply in trading when you think about when things don't go your way in trading, how you sort of try to justify yourself continuously in your mind that it is otherwise, it is okay. And things will continue on as how it is. And it can be a dangerous slope. So on all, basically, it's, selective perception. People only notice or register, information that appears to sort of affirm a chosen behavior or decision. And in trading, people only look for, indicators that, justify staying in a losing trade. For example, if, Bitcoin is, it will continue retracing from here, for example. Or perhaps, it's been a coin that shilled a lot and you tell yourself that, it will be shilled again on Twitter and it will pump again, right? So when you're losing in a long trade, so you give too much weight to every bounce that you see in a coin that makes, and then you will neglect the fact that perhaps maybe it's just a bearish retest and the price can keep going down and just hold on to your dear life to that coin. And that is also particularly related to perhaps your attachment to that coin. And secondly, there's also selective decision making. So people rationalize that, actions in order to stick to an original cause. So perhaps you went into a trade that broke your trading rules, for example, and humans have the tendency to go to extreme measures in order to protect their belief structure. So this type of protectionism, leads to traders coming up with excuses and then continue sticking to this trade by, doubling down on dollar cost averaging a position, unless, you are willing to hold on to this position for years to come, right? There are always exceptions to the rule. But if you're just trade, this is related mostly to just trading or swing trading that you're doing as part of your portfolio. So at the end of the day, it's typical human behavior to choose the easier way out. Like I said before, we humans are naturally cognitive misers. So what I mean by that is that we always like to take the shortcut. You try to rationalize your actions or look for information that affirms your behavior. And it's easier than going to the charts and reflect and understand why this trade is perhaps not going as planned, and why you should cut it right now, and why you're losing money. And of course, things like, because maybe you were wrong in that trade idea and it hurts a lot of your ego, and it is hard to cut that trade because, you were so sure that this was going to pan out as well, right? So there's so many factors that we have to take into consideration when that happens. And yeah, I just saw this comment by Todd. Yeah, that can also be a face of a pumpkin at Halloween. That's quite an interesting thing that I never personally saw it myself. So that's quite interesting that how pictures can bring out so many different perceptions of what you see, right? So, and that is all in your mind at times, and so we have to be mindful of that, and perhaps the exercise can help you be mindful of that. So basically, you end up, not being bias-free and can be really dangerous. And what can this lead to, right? So if you're not bias-free, you are not able to read the markets objectively, and you'll not be able to adapt fast enough to changing market conditions. And this is absolutely necessary, as you can see how volatile, right? Especially in crypto, how volatile things can be. You saw that yesterday we had that nice pump up for Bitcoin, but there's really strong resistance at the 49.2K area, and then only for it to drop after, and it went even lower than yesterday's low. And you can see how things can change so quickly in the market. So selective decision making can not only lead to you not wanting to cut your losses, but also make you come up with various excuses to avoid admitting that your initial entry was, indeed erroneous, right? So it's very common. A lot of it, if you face this, you are not alone. You constantly want to, think that it will bounce up, and then, this is not going to happen. It will just continue its journey up. This is a minor blip of the coin, but sometimes we just have to be rational. If you have your support and resistance marks, and especially for Bitcoin, you have to be mindful that if you want to trade altcoins, that you have to chart Bitcoin first before taking on an altcoin trade, because it's necessary that, because in this market, Bitcoin is the one controlling a lot of the things at the moment, and something that you have to consider. But many people often forget when perhaps their coin just keeps going up, and then they forget to take profits. And when Bitcoin dumps, they're unable to adapt quickly when that happens. And you can indeed get rid of this by constantly taking profits. It doesn't hurt, right? 10%, 25%. You take so much effort just to secure this trade setup that it is a shame if you don't take profits, right? And of course, sometimes the coin does not move at all or budge at all, and that can't be helped. And if it hits your stop loss, and that's a loss that you have to be willing to make, and have the perception that every time you get into a trade, you end up being a loss, right? And sometimes you can come across also, fake breakouts, volatile reactions at resistances, which was what happened just recently with Bitcoin. And usually, cognitive dissonance is the reason behind it. These fake outs are what trick us, as retail traders into take up on losing trades, and then, end up losing more of your capital, and you put in more than what you like, because, everyone starts being bullish, and you start increasing your position size because you're so sure of what's going to happen next. But nothing is sure in this market, and that's one thing for sure. So we can see in this chart, for example, that this is just how it can go in your mind when cognitive dissonance happens. So if you start all the way on the left, so here it says that you missed a Bitcoin move down, and you said that you missed shorting this move down, but it looks like it's bouncing now. And then, it's bouncing, but then after that it goes down, and say, why didn't I short? I could have made a lot of money here. And then it starts going down, down, down all the way. And okay, surely I'll join the crowd and short the next time. It looks like the price will be, going down more. And then we move along the chart right around March area, and then it drops really deeply. And then it says, this is just a retracement. I'm sure it will come back down again. I'm going to add on to my short position. And then it dumps even more, and I said, yes, it was right to short here. So down we go. Right, but then after that, it continues rallying. Bitcoin say, okay, this cannot be a real rally. My short is still okay. The RSI is overbought. It will come down. So you can see that these are like things that you're trying to convince yourself with different alternative explanations to convince yourself why you should stay in this trade. And it happens all the time. I can tell you, all the time happens over and over again, even to the best of traders. And it really needs a lot of discipline for you to get out of that thinking. And then you think that, okay, it will come down. It's just another chance for me to add to my short. But it just keeps going up and up and up. Okay, so, and then you think, it doesn't stop there. Okay, I guess we are bullish and we're going up. And then it makes a higher low, higher high. and you say, okay, it's time to close my short and go long. It's a little bit too late by then, because you've just been holding on, and imagine the amount of money that you have lost during this period of time, stress of where this trade is going to next. And it's not fun when you have that stress, which can really affect how you go about going your everyday life, and and your relationships with your family and stuff like that. And sometimes you ask yourself, is this all worth it to have to go through all that stress, right? And all of it is because it's based on yourself trying to convince yourself that this trade will be all right. And a lot of times, because people don't play stop losses, and a lot of times people like to go high leverage. And sometimes you really have to ask yourself, in this really, really volatile situation, unless you are able to really manage your positions and have the experience to do things, is it necessary to go high leverage or even leverage at all? You see a lot of people like posting their high leverage gains times 20 or times 50. You get really jealous, right? How can they do it and why can't I? But in reality, perhaps you could get lucky with a couple of these trades, but we are unsure if that trader actually has lost many other trades with such similar high leveraged moves. So and continue holding their trade till they get liquidated. So we never know what happens, and and that's when cognitive dissonance happens. When you get a little bit more confident with your trades, you start increasing a position size, you start increasing a leverage, being greedy, and wanting to have just a little bit more, right? And that's a very dangerous slope that we are going to. So what really helps is self-awareness. So every time you have this thought that comes in, that you start realizing yourself, okay, I'm trying to justify why I'm still staying in this trade, because you didn't set your stop loss, or you just think that it will go up further. It really seems to be key to understanding how, when cognitive dissonance may play a role in trading. So you find yourself justifying or rationalizing decisions or behaviors that you're not really clear you firmly believe in, right? Not clear that you firmly believe in. That's the key word here. That might be a sign that cognitive dissonance is at work. So if your explanation for something is, well, that's always the way I've always done it, I've thought about it, that's also probably a sign. So in other words, be skeptical and challenge yourself, such answers. If you find yourself, having such thoughts, constantly challenging yourself, have that, self-talk to yourself. And a part of that self-awareness that may help you better deal with such cognitive dissonance is to examine the commitments and decisions we make in our lives. So if the resolution of cognitive dissonance means that we move forward with a commitment and spring to action, making us feel better, maybe the dissonance was trying to tell us really something. Or maybe the decision or commitment wasn't just right for us as we initially thought. Even it means overcoming our, no second guessing bias and making different decisions. Sometimes we are just wrong, and we just have to suck it up and admit that, yes, we were just wrong. We can't get it right all the time. I mean, in our everyday lives, whatever we go through with our work and, and what we think about, how we, in our relationship with our family and stuff like that, sometimes we can get things wrong. And that's just part of life. And we just have to admit it, move on. And this can save us a lot of time, mental energy, and stress. And sometimes it helps, discussing with others once you start feeling that you're having conflicting thoughts about the trade. Helps you voice out your opinion, helps you have a clearer mind on that particular trade. And then, when creating a trading plan, it's always useful to come up with both long and short trading scenarios. Having only just one-sided analysis will not help you keep your mind and eyes open to both sides of the market. As I've said time again, that all altcoins are dependent on Bitcoin's move. Sure, there are a few who are uncorrelated with the moves of Bitcoin, but the majority are affected by it. And you have to have both sides of the plan makeup, and this is what makes it a more complete trading plan. And because you don't want Bitcoin to mark up, Bitcoin marks up even the best trading setup there, as we can see. And as we can see in the previous, official calls that's just been recently shown, like I think, for example, GRT, like people stopped out because of Bitcoin's volatility. And we have to be prepared for that when that happens. Do not always have the idea that it will moon, having that cloud over your head. It's not going to help you in making your decisions for your trade moving forward. And you're just going to be stuck in this loop over and over again and diminishing your portfolio, which is such a shame that you work so hard for, right? So accept that you don't know everything that happens in the market. We don't know what's going to happen from here. Will Bitcoin perhaps hold this support area? Will it drop further? You can have a bias towards something, but do not stick too much closely to that bias, and be ready to pivot whenever it's necessary. Because when the whales want to play in our emotions, this is the best way that they can do so. Going up and down, making you think like yesterday, okay, everything's so bullish, we're just going up further, and only to drop it further when you're caught unaware because everyone was so bullish. And that's how, they suck your money from this market, right? So accept that you don't know everything and that losses are a part of your trading journey. Again, I'd like to mention that every time you take on a trade, it is a loss. Firstly, because you pay the fees to take on a trade. And secondly, you have to accept that it might end up in loss. And you have to be okay with it, right? Even if it hurts your ego that you were wrong about the trade. A trader who can't take a loss will have no chance of learning from your experiences and to be a better trader over time. And when other things can help, is for some people, it's voicing out the reasons for taking this trade or even writing it down. So explain to yourself loudly in words, as if you explain to someone else why this particular trade makes a lot of sense to you and why it fits your trading plan. So you will quickly notice whether you're rationalizing your thoughts to get to this trade or looking for further information that affirms your trade, maybe from Twitter, wheresoever, and whether you're just deceiving yourself that this is a good trade or not. Right, so if you start voicing out your thoughts and things, like for some people, it works really well to rationalize and to not let this, clashing thoughts, mark up what you're thinking inside. So, or writing it out. So you have to find what works for you best as a person, right? For me, it's, voicing it out. For others, it may be writing it out. So, you just have to do some trial and error to see what fits or works for you best, as a trader. I can give you some tips, but what may work for me and what may work for some people may not work for you. So you really have to continuously search for that thing that really works for you. Right. And one thing that can help is also, thought stopping. It's really a conscious effort to stop the train of thought when it's occurring. Right. The idea is to look out for thoughts during trading that include the words, I or me. And then you don't want to be focused when you're concentrating on the markets. And because that's when your performance gets affected by this, you really have to immediately disrupt the pattern and become more market focused. Right. So next time, whenever you are in the market and you start thinking, finding yourself trying to rationalize why you should still, perhaps, hold on to this trade or take on this trade even. And then you start using a lot of words like I or me. And that's when you should be, wary or concerned about, and just take a minute there to take a deep breath and, just ask yourself, is this really right? This trade. And then it helps you, take a deep breath, and then it helps you better refocus your thoughts and to really, understand. And in this process, you also understand yourself better, right? Write down when that happens, when such a particular incident happened. And when it happens again, you are able to tackle it. And because you know that in such specific situations, it triggers you to have such thoughts, to rationalize yourself, and to, give yourself the thoughts on why you should still, continue on with this decision, with this trade, or to take on this trade, for example, right? So it clears your head and turns your attention elsewhere. And that's always helpful, to disrupt and cut those thoughts for that split second. And, it helps you think about, okay, wait a minute. A lot of people, underestimate such things, just taking a pause, taking a deep breath, and how it can, help you realign your thoughts again. And you can see a lot better, even if it's just, going out of the house for a bit as well, for a walk and things like that. That really helps wonders. So every time that happens, try to, stop yourself and just think about it. Be a little bit more self-aware when that happens. And you will notice that will make a lot of difference in your trading strategies and how you really understand yourself better as a person. When you understand yourself better as a person, you can also apply in your everyday life and how your relationships with your family. And, perhaps it can even strengthen your relationship with your family. And that's so important, right? Family, it's the anchor of your, for most of us, our anchor. And what we should continuously strive to work towards to be a better person for yourself, for your family. And trading therapy is not something that's only related to trading, but also something that hopefully that you can use and apply also in your everyday life. So that's what I have to share for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, or any comments, feel free to let me know. I'll be on for the next couple of minutes. So Todd has this question. Isn't it just like ignoring our problem? Todd stopping, like sticking our head in the sand and consoling ourselves that it wasn't our fault. So it's a little bit different. So when you're stopping at that moment in time, you are just giving a pause to yourself to, you're not exactly telling yourself anything, right? You're just stopping at that point of time to give yourself a break, a mental pause. That's very different from, consoling yourself, because you aren't actually consoling yourself at that point of time. You're just stopping. And that is just a way for you to take a breather from whatever thoughts that are really marking up what you're currently thinking at the moment. So, that's quite a difference in that. And the dissonance, it will always be there, right? I hope that, clarifies your question, Todd. If anyone has any other questions, I'll stay on for another minute. Yeah, it's more accepting. Yes, that's very true. And that's why meditating, mindfulness meditating can be so useful in times like this, when you really need it, when you feel that you're not in the right mental space to tackle the current situation that you're in. And that's why it's so important to have that. You're most welcome, Todd. And thank you for, participating in this session. I really enjoy, interacting with you guys. And if you guys are able to attend next further sessions, you'll be great. And if you have any comments or further comments or anything that you would like to hear for, trading therapy sessions moving forward, feel free to also leave a comment in the trading therapy channel. Jimmy and myself will be more than welcome to take up on it and to, expand on, whatever things that that you guys would like to discuss. Thanks a lot, Johanna. I hope it will help, especially for today's price action. Trade safe, take care, guys, and good luck with your second shot. And I will now be signing out. Thank you all. And welcome, Todd, that they are new. I hope you enjoy your time around here. And hope to, speak to you soon. Thank you, guys.